In this video, I'm going to talk about part 4, the last part of the Health Communication Campaigns project. This really has two parts to it, the paper portion and the presentation portion. I'll talk about the paper portion in this video and do a separate video for the presentation portion. Even though they're listed as two separate assignments, they're very clearly linked together as they're the final part of this overall campaigns project. For this part, the written portion of the assignment, you're going to be essentially synthesizing what you've done in parts 1 through 3 of the project into a final written almost report of what you've done with this campaign. I've got details of this assignment on the assignments page for part 4 of the project, so do make sure you're looking at that before you start writing and as you're writing this. But I'll talk about some of the key things, the key sections of the paper that you should be including. What you'll do first is talk about the health issue. You've done some of this already in part 1. My expectations here that you're using some of that content and expanding on it further, but I want you to clearly identify the health issue and explain why this is an important issue. What you should be doing here is linking in some outside scholarly sources. So find credible sources that talk about this health issue. If you do use popular press articles, they should be ones that are of very high quality and high credibility. So if you're using popular press, something like the New York Times or a medical publication that's widely respected and credible would be acceptable, but scholarly outside sources to help you explain this health issue. What you'll do next is talk about the target population. Again, explicitly identify the target population and provide an explanation for why you selected that population. And that explanation should really have a link between the health issue and the population. I've provided more information about both of those sections on the assignments page, so again, make sure you're looking at that as you're writing the paper. The section you'll have next is talking about theory and research. So identify relevant theory or research articles that apply to your health campaign. These could be the ones that you used in the past part of the project, part 2. But what you'll do here is include at least 3 theories or research articles that have impacted your campaign or that connect with your campaign in some fashion, and explain those sources and explain that connection. Lastly, what you'll do is talk about your health campaign and the messages. So what you'll do here is explain how you plan to spread your message. You could think about this as explaining what your hypothetical campaign would look like, because you're not actually carrying this campaign out, but explain what you intend to do with this campaign, how you're going to spread messages. Are they going to be print posters, and if so, where you're going to put them? If they're TV commercials or advertisements, which channels are you going to select? If they're a social media campaign, how are you going to do that? What I want you to do here is think about how would somebody actually carry this campaign out, and I want you to also include your messages here. These could be attached as part of the submission, but you need to include in your 2 messages that you're using, and those should be explicitly linked with how you're going to carry out your hypothetical campaign. Now, the last part of this is the presentation. I'm going to talk about that in a separate video, but for that, go into the assignments menu and look for the presentation portion of Health Communication Campaign Project. It very much connects with what you're doing for the paper portion, but again, they're listed as 2 separate assignments. The last note I have here, the last thing that I think is important to talk about, make sure you're looking at the details I have on this assignment submission page for part 4, as I've got more details there about what should be in this part of the project and some things relating to formatting. And as always, you can contact your instructor in case you have more questions about this part of the Health Communication Campaigns project.